this video that we got coming up, we will be coding trend lines, more specific up trend lines. And as the series goes on, we're just gonna make it um, go down. We'll do these here. We're actually going to have trend lines that break out and retest. That's the whole purpose of these videos. But we're going to start, and it's going to actually start with the fractals. The indicator that we coded earlier, that's where the trend lines will come from. And as we play it, we can watch it run. We can see that it draws all the trend lines from to the fractal points that it finds. And the important thing to notice here is that the trend lines do not break. They do not break at all of uh, bars. If bars break the trend lines, it's an invalid trend line. We do not want that trend line. And like I said, we use that from the fractal points that we use. All right, let's get started. I'm going to delete this indicator. This is one that I coded earlier. We'll start fresh, everyone, so we can understand what is going on. Okay, everyone, let's go create an indicator and give it a name. I will call mine, uh, just say trend lines and fracs. Let's say create, create trend lines with the fractal V2 indicator. All right. And once again, we're going to do the overlay on price, and I want it on price change. Okay. And the reason why I want it on price change is when the trend line is drawn, eventually we're going to have a trend line that connects 3 points instead of two. And then we're going to actually code triangles. We're going to have one trend line going up, other trend line going down. When the price meets both uh, points, the third point on both of those trend lines, that's when we're getting a buy. That's the purpose of this indicator. And we're going to have a bunch of trend lines that you can see. We are actually learning how to code technical indicators, and this is what I actually learned to help me learn C sharp and through school, which I just graduated a couple months ago, and this is how I learned is through NinjaScript. Okay. All right, now we're created. Let's build it. All right, we come here and saying, hey, something's changed. Go ahead and press reload all and find the indicator that we created, which is trend lines and fracs. Okay, now let's go ahead and get started. To make it, to understand what is going on, we need to understand how NinjaScript works. Okay, NinjaScript works a little different. It's still C sharp, but they have our own code. And what I mean by working different is on bar update right here. Okay, if we open up Fractals V2 what we created last time, we see that we created a list, and a list we has up fractals and down fractals. All right, now right here we're saying, hey, we're going to get the up fractals and we're going to return the up fractals. That's the information we're going to make public so other indicators can use this information. The problem is lies right here on bar update. Okay, we need to call this on bar update in order to get the information that we need. Okay, how do we do that? Well, there's a method in NinjaScript, and what that method is called is update. Now, before we get started, we need to do this for every one of our indicators. If current bar less than the numbers that we need to run this indicator, then return. Okay, if you have a MACD indicator or any moving average and you need at least 20 bars, then current bar should be at least 20 bars before it starts coding. Okay, and here I just chose 5. And the reason why this, I don't need 5 bars, but I mean anything less than that, we do not have enough information to trade. That's my opinion anyway. Okay, now, as I said, we got to call the update. So how do we do that? Well, first thing we're going to do is call the indicator that we created, and we're going to call the update function, which is right here. All right. Now, we hover over it. It says forces the on bar update method to be called so that indicator values are updated to the current bar. If the values are already up to date, the update method will not be run. Okay? So this here will call the on bar update, which will come here and run all this information that we need. And run that information. Now we have access to what we need to put it on this indicator. Okay? Now, what we're going to do, close this out. What we're going to do next is we are only coding the up fracs right now. So let's just go ahead and just set a variable. Let's call it frac up. We're just going to set it to fractals v2. Let me change this to v2. Almost messed up. We'll run into a big problem there. v2, and we're just going to call the up fractals. Okay. Now, after we do that, we need to make sure that this information has the up fractals, has elements already in it before we can code it. So how do we do that? Say if frac up dot count greater than, I can say 0, but I'm going to need 2 fractals to code one trend line, right? So I need it greater than 1. Need 2 of them to code one trend line. Okay. Now the next thing problem I ran into when I was coding it the first time, it was how if it keeps running the update, running on the price change. So every time the price change, it's going to rerun this bar. How do I stop it from running the same data over and over? Well, what I came up with was this. I'm going to initialize 2 variables. I'm going to call the first one start 0. Then the next one, uh, and the next one will be int up next equals 0. These videos, I'm not going to go fast through them because I want everybody to understand exactly what's going on with the videos. Now, what I thought about is date never changes. If we could run bars from one way, it could go from left to right, or if we use a for loop, it could go right to left. Bars change, but the date never changes. So what I said, I'm actually going to write this code first, then I will explain to you what's going on so you can understand it a little better. All right. I'm gonna say if frac up dot count, if frac up dot count -1 date dot equals frac up next dot date, and up next equals frac up dot count -1, and up start equals 0. Okay, now what I'm saying is I want this here to get the very last element that was in here. Whenever it was, every time it runs, I want to get the very last one and put it right here. So if there's three elements in the chart, I mean, we got in our list, then I want the third one to be here every time. And up next, which is the variable we set up here, is set 0. If up next equals 3, and this here is 3, the date will be the same. If the dates are the same, do not run anything else. Come back up here. If the dates are not the same, then set next to this information. Then we can use, then set upstart to 0. Now let me, the video get a little long, I'm gonna cut it short. Before we do that, I'm gonna show you exactly what we are going to do to help us understand a little bit more, okay? Now we have, let's just say we have 4 bars. This is the last one we're talking about. This is the last element. So this is going to be up next, okay? Up start's going to be set to 0 right here. It's set to the very first element in the list. And when we run this for loop we're about to do, we're going to loop through these bars. If no bar breaks the trend line from here to here, then we're going to save that information. If it does break it, we're going to actually going to say upstart plus plus, which is going to move upstart to here. And we're going to do a for loop from this information until upstart, say let's say up next equals 4, then upstart's 1 less, so upstart's 3, it's not equal to 4. Then we're going to break out of it and rerun everything back over again to this information. And that's it for this video, and we will continue on